There it is.
There we go. We're live. We don't even get any fanfare. We get nothing. This is what happens when Pixel is in the middle of driving.
Apparently.
Let's see if everything's working here. Oh, there we go. Yes. Okay. Everything's working now. Okay, so we are live. Welcome back to Madmen with a Box. Currently, Pixel is making his way back to his apartment, so usual setup is a bit weird. I'm OZChris. I'm joined here with Joe Corallo.
It's true.
Pixel will be joining us shortly. As usual, there is no Doctor Who news because not even about the spin-off.
Yeah, that's not great.
No. Is it coming out this year? Is it coming out next year? Who knows? I don't care. Hello, CM Bluestone in the chat. So, for this stream, we are going to be talking about the Big Finish story, Dust Breeding. It is the 21st story in the original Big Finish monthly range. It is a 7th Doctor story, starring Ace and a Mr. Setter. I wonder who that is. I wonder who Mr. Setter is. It's such a mystery. Don't mix those words around together to make another word.
Yeah.
So, we'll get started. So, this is written by Mike Tucker, directed by Gary Russell, produced by Jason Haig-Ellery and Gary Russell. It's only about it's about an hour and 45 minute story. So, on 19th century Earth, artist Edvard Munch hears an infinite scream pass through nature. Centuries later, his painting of that scream hangs in a gallery on the barren dust world Dechamp 331. Why is there a colony of artists on a planet that is a little more than a glorified garage? What is the event that the passengers of the huge, opulent pleasure cruiser gallery are hoping to see? And what is hidden in the crates that litter the cargo hold? The Doctor's diary indicates that the painting is about to be destroyed in mysterious circumstances. And when he and Ace arrive in Duchamp 331, these circumstances are well underway. Hello, not Matt Fish. Oh, is Pixel here?
Whoa.
Pixel is here.
Hi.
The whole gang is here.
I'm Pixel.
Hey, fellas.
Insert.
Hello,
Gevain is here as well.
Look at that.
I had to hop
This
off.
is very stolen Earth.
I had to bring in Gevain. That's why I had to be off. I had to go bring him in.
Oh, that's all right then.
I'm here too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You're welcome.
Oh, you're just in time. I've done the intro. I've introed us into the story.
You talked about how we have no news this week at all.
No news at all. Not even spin-off news.
God.
So let's get straight into it. Joe, your thoughts on dust breeding? Why is the dust breeding? That's weird.
Here's the thing. It's true. I really like dust breeding. I think it's a very good story. There's a few things I think, maybe a few strong. There's at least a couple of things that I think keep this from really being like perfect in a wild way, because like it is probably one of the better examples, not just in Big Finish, but in the series itself, of the Masters working with a new a monster that had one appearance before or something and is now manipulating.
Which is funny. You would have, so the Krill Hat, which are they're the monsters in this story. You would have had to read a novel to know what they are, because Ace mentions them, and you're thinking, were they in a previous audio story? No, they're in a novel called Storm Harvest.
Yes.
Which is one of the past Doctor Adventure novels back during the Wilderness years. So it's just so funny that this is canon to that novel.
It really is. It's silly. But yeah, like, and the krill are interesting enough for monsters. It's a shame because they seem like they're really visual looking, like you would want to see them, and you don't. So, so you have that issue. It's also great. Obviously, having Jeffrey Beavers back was wonderful. Having was a Caroline John, his wife, who was also Liz Shaw, as giving whatever that accent was.
Very as Madame Salvadori.
Yeah.
Weird, like kind of like faux, kind of like poshish, like Italian-esque accent. Yeah.
Yeah, like it was fine. It worked. It was great having her back, and to have like her and her husband, the master, ripping off each other back and forth. Like, it does pain me that Anthony Anley wasn't the master for any big finish, including this one, which they initially asked him to do. It is a real shame. I think Jeffrey Beavers may have been the better choice for this particular story anyway.
Yeah, because I feel like it would be more almost pantomime-ish if it was Anthony Ainley, especially if they're going to write him as like him, like during the J&T era. So it's like, I went to go steal a painting and I have the painting now.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, yeah. More, please.
Dr. Toshido, I'm indestructible, or like all that kind of, nonsense. I do think is Mr. Seta better or worse than Sir Estrom?
Maybe because well, Mr. Seta is just master. Sir Estra the master, or
Sir Estrom is just mass? It's just the last name. The surname is spelt. It's rearranged to master.
Okay. No, I think Mr. Seta works a bit more.
Yes, it does. No. It brings it all.
Sir Estra, I feel like I'd have to look that up, but I feel like you're adding letters.
The way it's spelled makes it
master.
You'll see it. Yeah, I mean, but yeah, it's so I think that works. I think it was really cool how they did this, how they didn't announce that Jeffrey Beavers was the master in this upon initial release. So if you were listening at the time, you would have potentially been shocked in some way.
Can it be?
I mean, you might not necessarily think Mr. Seta is like master. You might not do that, but yeah. I like that. The thing that kind of drives me a little crazy with this story, it's like it's both like it's nitpicky, but it's also like, I don't know. If the Doctor and Ace don't show up, nothing really changes, because the Master ultimately can't harness the warp core, so it kind of that part to me is like, look, there are so many classic stories and New Who stories that
fall into that category.
Yeah, so like I can't like fault it too much for that, but it is kind of interesting to think about, and now I will let others also have things to say about this.
Gevain.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I thought it was a good story. I was interested in when was this recorded?
Well, it came out
2001.
All right, 2000. Okay, that's a while ago. Yeah, because I really enjoyed the performances. That's the thing with Big Finish. I always enjoyed the vocal performances. I think McCoy and Allard is Seven and Ace really work well together. A lot of screaming for Ace there. Did it well, but a lot of screaming, and it was while it was nice to have Caroline back. I would have been interested to have her back as Liz somehow, if that was possible. But it was good to have her voicing it as well. Yeah, my thing with the story is that what Joe had mentioned was that it was kind of like, until the two of them show up, it's like, would this with the story really going there? I don't know. It kind of reminded me of like, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Big Bang Theory, and it was kind of like there was the joke between, I think it was Amy and Sheldon, where she argues that basically Indiana Jones was inconsequential when it came to the resolution of the Raiders of the Lost Ark story. Like basically, if he had never showed up, they still would have lost anyway. So that's where when that came up, that's what that reminded me of. It was like, oh, okay. But other than that, it's a really good story. It's entertaining. The Krill thing, as you guys mentioned, you would have to know this other story because I had no idea who the hell they were. But it was like, all right, But all in all, like I said, I always like Big Finish stories. I always find them really engaging. I think that a lot of the classic Doctors shine a lot more in the Big Finish stuff than in some of their original runs. And particularly the companions, I think there's a lot more insight into who they are and just a little bit more room for them to breed. But overall, I really enjoyed Dust Breeding. Yeah, I thought it was good. I would say, and maybe others can speak on this, I don't know if it necessarily the Dust villain had to be like the Decayed Master per se, but that's a nitpick more than anything else. Yeah.
Yeah. I always like it when things are put in there as a surprise. So having Jeffrey Beavers come back and you have him listed as Mr. Seta, because even if you go back to the page now, it says his name is Mr. Seta, and it doesn't say the Master. That's always good. It would have been nice to have Ainley back, but I think Joe's correct. I think Beavers is more suited towards this. This is a good story. It's good. I'm really upset that you mentioned that Joe, that if they didn't show up, it just would have happened the same way anyway. That doesn't make me happy. It's just like that episode of The Big Bang Theory. I sit there and I'm like, no, it can't be true.
Yep.
I love this movie so much. They have to have some impact now. No.
He's a writer and editor for a reason.
Yeah, that's right. I also don't like that the Doctors imply that, he says that he has the real Mona Lisa. But I can say, in my mind, I think, okay, well, if he's taking these items that are these cultural significant pieces right before they disappear, they end, that's fine. So him taking the Scream would be fine because it's the end. But him stealing the Mona Lisa is not cool, guys. It's really not good.
He has one of 7. Which is a nice City of Death reference.
Yeah.
Yes.
At least when he's like, at least I don't have the one that says this is a fake.
Yeah.
written on the back of it, which I actually liked as like a little callback because it's fitting with the whole like art gallery like setting and to do with the Scream. So it's a nice little reference to City of Death.
I've always liked that painting too, the Scream. Like even as a kid, it was one that, like stuck with me. So having a whole episode about it, it's very nice. I like this. I think it's a solid story. Yeah, I don't really have any more notes to add on.
Yep.
Chris, you're holding an art degree, so tell
I
us
am.
what you think.
I do have an art degree. I've done nothing with it, as typically you would do with an art degree. Nothing with it. No, I really enjoyed the story. I thought it was really good. I like the Scream as the kind of like containing the warp core. All of that I think very interesting. Jeffrey Beaver's coming back as the Master, I think was probably I honestly think it's probably one of their best decisions. It's like, okay, we can't get Anthony Ainley back, so let's bring Jeffrey Beavers back, because then you bring him back and you flesh out that version of the Master even more. Even if it's like, even with Fourth Doctor Adventures does a couple where it's like pre-Keeper of Traken, where they do a little bit with him, and then, but I especially like this one where it's technically it's post-survival, so he's just, in the word, he's surviving. So that Master works really well with that, and a fantastic choice. I think the entire cast was great. Pretty just good, solid story. So before we get into a little bit of ratings, a little bit of trivia. So yes, this was Jeffrey Beaver's audio debut as the Master, and the first time that version of the Master appeared in audio. I don't think any of them appeared in audio at this point. It was probably just maybe mentions, but I don't think any of them appeared. As we mentioned earlier, Big Finish had invited Anthony Ainley to reprise the role, but were unable to reach a suitable deal with him. Hence, the whole thing of his the Trakenite body, the Tremus body, being stripped away from him and leaving him as the Decayed Master. And then also, speaking on that, that is not the first time that has happened to this Master. There are two other stories where he has had the Tremus body taken away from him, only for him to get it back in the end. The Velvet Dark and Quantum Archangel. I haven't read The Velvet Dark. I think it's part of like a Short Trips novel, but I have read Quantum Archangel, and that's good. It's a Sixth Doctor story. So with that, my Sixth Doctor with the Decayed Master, I think it's pretty good from what I remember. This story takes place between Survival and the 1996 TV movie. It, once again, as typical with this Master, confuses the fuck out of like his history. Because from between Survival and the Doctor Who movie, there are so many different ways that he somehow loses his body, as I mentioned, and like what incarnation it is by the time that who gets executed at the start of the TV movie. Because it's like you have the Eighth Doctor's novel saying that the Tremus Master was the one that ate that death worm so that he could survive later on in the TV movie. But then there's another novel where the Master gets a new body, an alien race helps him and he gets a new body, then something happens to that Master that eventually becomes the one that gets executed. And now with this one, they reintroduce the whole Decayed Master. So he comes back, and then
all we really need is Sasha Dewan for one story at least to revert back into a Decayed Master, and
again.
Then it all leads back to Beavers and the
I guess.
There you go. It's
But
all
no,
wibbly wobbly time.
It makes it even funnier that like post TV movie, like yeah, you have the Eric Roberts Bruce Master, like he's around for a bit, and then they establish he just eventually becomes the Decayed Master again. He just always he always goes back to being the Decayed Master, regardless of what body he takes. I think that's just so funny. But then they gave a definitive end to that master to then set up the whole resurrection later on. So, very convoluted. I think it's so funny that 3 different types of media have tried to explain what happened to the master post survival before the TV movie, and like I think even in the box set that gives the definitive end for the Decayed Master, they mention the shit from the books, so it's like all of it is canon. That doesn't work. It's 2 of them at least contradict each other, so it's so weird that they decided fuck it, it all works.
It's fine.
Yeah,
no, it's not. That's confusing as hell.
It's fine.
It just goes to show you the Master's really like living life, like really going for it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Really pushing it,
And then, do I have one last one here?
Yeah, I just assume at this point Doctor Who has a what is it, like a moving or a sliding timeline like Marvel's got now, so I just leave it at that.
I did read that new Captain America. I'm liking that. Since you mentioned the whole sliding timeline where he's now post 9/11, I think he wakes up now. Yeah.
Yep.
And there is an illustration of this master from the story, because they mentioned that he's wearing a mask, and it's a very like expensive looking mask. So it's a gold mask that is studded with gems. How he got that, I don't know.
It's fancy,
It's fancy, yeah. Not really trivia, but I like the detail of like they mentioned, like, how there's like the wind or the dust, it just sounds like screaming, and they specifically say it sounds like Dalek screaming. I feel like Nick Briggs probably just did like a Dalek scream, and then they put the gain down a bit and like stretched it out.
Yeah.
Because I really like that detail just in that background when you hear it's just like, yeah, that actually does legitimately sound like a Dalek screaming.
They know Ace can pull out a baseball bat at any time.
Anytime. Just not against the scream. All right. Let's get into ratings. Joe, what would you give Dust Breeding?
I feel like it's like an 8 out of 10. It's a really fun, solid story, great performances. There's a couple of things that keep it from being, like that perfect kind of story for me, as I sort of mentioned. But yeah, I really enjoyed all the performances, and it was compelling enough. So yeah, 8 out of 10.
Okay. Gevain.
Yep. Joe nailed it. 8 out of 10. Yep, for all the reasons he stated. That's, like I said, great story. Little things here and there that I was tempted to do an 8.5, but I think 8's good. And like I said, I always look forward to Big Finish, and I like what they're doing with 7 and Ace. 7 and Ace, what I've heard so far. So yep, an 8.
Okay. I'm actually going to go 7.5. The couple things that are keeping me from making this like this could be a perfect story. It does weigh it a little bit more down for me. 7's still good. 7.5 is still above good, but it's missing something, and I don't know what it is. I liked listening to it, but I don't know if it's one I'm going to be revisiting anytime soon. So, Chris.
I would also give it an 8 out of 10. I really enjoyed this story. Jeffrey Beavers, as always, is fantastic as the Master, and like I said, I'm glad they brought him back so they can expand his character more, because it's like it is like if you're going off his 2 story appearances, they're weirdly different. Like you have the first one where it's like, oh, I'm just evil. I want to live, but I'm evil now. And then the second one where it's like, it's a bit more tame. He's a bit more like, how would I say this? Not really sinister, but he's more like kind of calm. He's calm evil. So yeah, they're supposed to be the same one. It's the same character. So I think it was a good job to bring him back and to flesh out his role in many various other stories afterwards. But no, 8 out of 10.
Okay. Well, you have our ratings, folks. Let us know what you think in the comments below. We also ask you to like and subscribe. We'll be back next week with something.
Doctor Who news? I don't think so.
No. Doctor Who news. Who covers something like that? There's never anything. Anyway, that's all. That's our show tonight. Short, sweet, and here for you. A treat. We'll see you next time, guys. Bye-bye.
Take care.
Alonzi.